I tried to review Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. FromSoftware has given us another top-notch game and a powerful message to their peers that you can still make money by creating well-designed games. It's been a while since the last time I gave a game a standing ovation after finishing it. This game is wonderful. It's like rediscovering something you've been searching for decades and you can't seem to remember what it's called. But the memory you have about it has always stayed in your mind. That is Armored Core to me. The first time I've encountered this game was years ago. When we were elementary kids, a friend of mine invited us to come every Friday to play video games at his place on his PS1. When we played Armored Core back then, it was mind-blowing. It's a video game that lets you build a mech, pilot it, and fight your friends to see who has the better build and who's the better pilot. Even though I never won a match against my friends, I still love that game. For a boy who really likes Gundam, discovering this game is like discovering General Yamashita's treasure. However, as the years went by, my friend's PS1 broke down, we graduated elementary, and discovered other games. I had forgotten about Armored Core. It came to a point that I even forgot the title of the game. But that sensation, that experience, and the fun I had playing the game left a lifelong impression. Playing another Armored Core game 17 years later, I'm glad to say it did not disappoint. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk about the things I like and dislike in this game. Armored Core is about building your mech. Buying parts and weapon is one of the game's core mechanics. Creating different AC builds, saving them, and loading them whenever you like is just amazing to me. I've created 5 iterations of my AC Cosmos, and an AC tank called Armored Coke. The level of customization given to us in this game is grand. You can even create your very own badges to put on your AC. The last time I experienced this kind of freedom for this feature was in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. The glorious debut / comeback of our merc group / corporation, the Golden Pursuit, here in the universe of Armored Core, is nigh. Golden Pursuit will conquer Rubicon. All shall serve the mighty sea creature. Pursuit! All hail Pursuit! At the beginning of the game, I had this idea that I could finish this game using only one build. Well, you can do that, but not me, since my reflexes are akin to those of a jungle tree. Hence why I have 5 iterations of AC Cosmos to adapt to the different dilemmas this game has thrown my way. Also, speaking boldly, limiting yourself to one build to finish a playthrough in this game with the level of customization and weapon choice, I think doing a one build run will make you miss a good chunk of the game. So I suggest creating and using multiple AC builds. Using your AC builds in the field of battle is breathtaking. The mech combat in the game is the best experience I've had this year, or probably ever. The fast-paced combat, the sounds, the music, the enemy design, the world, the voice acting, everything, it's just perfect. Well, not entirely perfect. Sometimes the voice of the characters get drowned out by the sounds of battle. Most of the time when Aerie is speaking, or Handler Walter, or whoever it is, I just can't hear them. Due to this, I've missed out on some of the important story bits of the game. The AC we can pilot, especially if you created a light one, feels nimble and agile. In contrast, if you build an AC that is tankier and bulkier, you can feel the difference in their speed and durability. They might be slower, but they can take a salvo of missiles or 2. I really like this. You can really feel the weight difference of the ACs. The AC builds that you can create feel unlimited. The weapons we can use, whether energy, kinetic, or explosive, most of them are quite good. One exception though, I didn't really like this shoulder weapon. I think this is the only weapon that I didn't like in this game. I know some pilots better than I am can use this effectively, but for me, this weapon is just crap. The synergy of combining AC builds and the weapons you choose to arm them with is just brilliant. They complement each other very well. Seeing how people go full baloney on their builds, how quickly they can close the gap, stun locking some hard bosses, dealing a tremendous amount of damage in mere seconds, just makes me chuckle every time I see them. The game is pretty difficult. Well, that's a lie. It's hard. FromSoftware games, in my opinion, have this pace, where the first few hours of your playtime will be obviously still challenging, but learning the pattern and somehow mastering the game's mechanics will make traversing the world easier, and the game will give you that breathing room to learn it. That's their formula. That's how they set the pace. They made a little bit of change in Sekiro, but the changes were not entirely focused on the pace, but rather on how to use and time your blocks, rather than just dodging away. Here in Armored Core, since this is not an open world game, the pace is quite faster. You can replay the missions you've completed, master the mechanics by running these missions over and over again, but nothing can prepare me for the first chapter boss, Boltius, who I like to call Pandora's Bastard. It's the boss that made me rethink why I bought this game. The difficulty spike fighting him was too surprising for me. The amount of things he throws at you is just outright overwhelming. The number of missiles he sends your way is enough to turn the city I'm currently residing in into a wasteland. Not gonna lie, this boss fight made me lose my patience, and I started to think that this boss is not balanced at all. It should have been placed later in the game when I have better chance, equipment, and understanding of the game's mechanics. Using the weapons I have unlocked then, it feels like the game is being unfair to me. This is the first time I've felt this in a FromSoftware game. It's like fighting Malenia in Stormveil Castle. It's possible for sweaty players, but for an average player like me, it's nigh impossible. I'm hearing a lot of good noises. Yes, eventually I got good. I managed to defeat Boltius, but the way I defeated him felt like cheesing him. Also, it took me 2 hours and 35 minutes to defeat this boss. However, my complaints aside, the encounter with Boltius did make me learn the game mechanics faster. It made me understand the things that I should consider in my AC builds, like bringing the right tool for the right situation, and most importantly, that this game has no iframes. I also realized that I'm looking at this game with a Souls game lens, which is in hindsight kind of the reason why I had these struggles to begin with. Taking that lens off and seeing this game for what it really is made me better at the game, and I even started to like its narrative. The bosses after Boltius are quite okay to fight. They don't feel as unbalanced and out of place as Boltius did. Maybe it's because I face a wall that is too hard to scale and I got used to the challenge? Maybe. The important thing is the bosses of this game are still up to par with the standard set by FromSoftware, and Boltius is my nemesis in this game. The story of the game at the beginning is kind of boring to me. It felt monotone and didn't have the powerful intro cutscenes other FromSoftware games have. It lacks the rise, you tarnish moment in the beginning. I also didn't like that the characters we met can't be seen. They only talk to us through comms. Just comms. We can't speak with them face to face. I'm not a fan of this kind of dialogues in games. I like to incorporate characters with faces, not just logos or icons. I want to see the emotions in the character's face. This kind of design makes me uninterested and disconnected from the characters who's speaking. I just can't feel any immersion in the story if this is how dialogues are in a game. I don't mind it during combat, but if I'm idle in between missions and you just show me boxes of icons or logos speaking to me, spouting expositions and plot, it feels lazy. However, finishing the game and understanding its plot, it made sense to me why they opted to do this. I think they intentionally made the dialogues this way to make us feel some sort of isolation and that we should only trust ourselves and nobody else. We will have a harder time trusting them or figuring out what they really want or who they really are if we can see their faces. Case in point, V4 Rusty. I never saw his face, but I cared a lot about this character. The voice acting in this game is more than enough to make me feel things, to care about the characters, making my argument earlier moot. The story as a whole made me think of things. In the beginning of the game, it made me feel like an unwelcome guest, a party crasher, because I was. The call sign Raven? I've stolen that. I'm here at Rubicon illegally. I've stolen a license just to operate here. And the things I did to this planet or system are so massive given that I'm an outsider. It's a far cry from the stories FromSoftware tells in their games. In other titles, you're a chosen undead, an ashen one, and a tarnish. You know who you are or what you are. You have a goal, and you belonged. Progressing in the story, I felt a little bit of existential crisis. Who the hell am I? Am I 621? A hound? A mercenary whose loyalty belongs to the highest bidder? Am I a caged raven forced to do the bidding of Handler Walter, looking for a way to be free? Or just a nameless mercenary that sparks conflicts, death, and destruction wherever I show up? Those kind of things ran through my mind while playing the game. It's amazing! It's been a while since the last time I've had this train of thoughts while playing a game. A great story in a well-designed game? What's not to like? Of course, since this is a FromSoftware game, there are endings. Let's just say that if you're a fan of FromSoftware stories, you'll like it because you know how they tell a story and set up their endings. Don't get me wrong, the story is not a rehashed idea from the Souls game, it's still unique. There are just some tropes that made me say, where did I hear that before moments. And if this is your first FromSoftware game, good luck, have fun, the story is bleak, but a ray of hope is always gleaming on the horizon. And don't get too attached to the NPCs. I'm also surprised that given that this game has no multiple paths to take or an open world, it still gives us multiple endings. Maybe this is coming from a person that got used to the shit show modern games have been this past few years, but I did not expect that this game will have multiple endings. It's a linear game. The levels are divided into missions. My brain can't process that a game can have multiple endings without the need for a dialogue wheel, obtaining a super secret item, or choosing a portal or a path at the end of the game. The game will make you choose a mission to do, and based on that choice, you'll get a different ending. On your third playthrough, a different ending will be achievable. So long story short, the game warrants 3 playthroughs. Minimum. For each ending, a different boss will appear, so different dilemma, different strategies, and different cutscenes. All that is just mind-blowing to me. The effort they put into this game after releasing another masterpiece just a year ago. Just wow. Even though this game is not an open world game, the level designs are quite exceptional. At times, they rival or even surpass those of some other open world games. The level of environmental storytelling, a hallmark of FromSoftware, is still present, although not to the same extent as in their Souls series. As I mentioned earlier, you don't need to uncover a secret item or complete a series of missions for an NPC to unlock an ending. However, there are hidden cache of data that provide us with information about the world, its characters, and events that transpired before. You can also discover loot such as AC parts or weapons that aren't available for purchase, so there are still compelling reasons to explore the levels. The arena is a simulation where you can engage in combat against NPC pilots. It's the source for OS chips, another feature that allow us to unlock passive upgrades for our ACs. And it's also served as a valuable source of information about certain characters. Moreover, it's an excellent place to hone your combat strategies against agile ACs. I did not expect a fleshed-out side content for this game. I was expecting that replaying missions to achieve higher ratings will be the primary side activity. I'm pleasantly surprised that the game includes the arena. It's an unexpected but very welcome addition, and they didn't half-ass it. Of course, this game features PvP called Nest for players who want to take things to the next level and showcase their AC designs, proving who's boss and striving to get good. Yeah, I don't have the slightest idea what's happening in Nest. I have never attempted to play a match because I'm not a competitive person, and I'm honestly not the most skilled AC pilot. For me, the single player experience is more than enough. I'll leave Nest to those AC pilots who are more skilled than I am. I don't want to feel sorry for myself, as I know I would likely struggle to secure a victory if I ever ventured into this mode. Let me be clear. I hate nostalgia baiting. I despise when I start doubting whether I genuinely like a game, questioning if it's solely because of my fond memories of the past. Are my nostalgia-tinted glasses obscuring my judgment? I detest second-guessing myself. That's why I'm always cautious and take extra time to form my opinions about series I have history with. I'm happy to say that any doubts I had were put to rest by this game. Armored Core, a title I almost forgot, was a trip down memory lane, bringing back good time spent with friends playing its predecessor. It not only revived those familiar moments, but also introduced some fresh elements like the story, the world of Rubicon, and its characters. I know they will stick with me for a very long time. The gameplay brought back memories of the mecha anime I loved as a kid. The weapons felt satisfying to use, both in terms of sound and feedback. The bosses that intimidated me when I saw them for the very first time, and the endings that made me doubt my decisions. I have nothing left to say except this. If you have the patience and are ready to dive into a challenging and unforgiving world that will test you to the point of frustration, then you absolutely must play this game. For those of you who made this far in this video, I strongly encourage you to buy this game. It's an experience you'll regret missing out on. So go out there, Raven, and soar high with those stolen wings. Before I end this lengthy video, I want to thank all of you for your time, not only for watching this video till the end, but for also watching my review on Remnant 2. It's the first video I've posted that reached 1,000 views. If you're one of those people that already watched that, thank you very much. Getting 1,000 views is nothing but amazing to me. I'm really thankful. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you on the other one. Goodbye.